You're listening to After the Review.
After the review.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is After Review. I'm your host, Peter. Joining us this week is Matt. Matt, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Pete, man? How's it going?
Man, it's been a really, really long time since I've seen you. This has been a tough 3 days.
I know. I don't know how you survived.
I know. We had a little COVID wedding celebration this weekend. And honestly, it was probably the best safety precautions you could have taken and have the amount of fun we had, given the circumstance. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was really fun. Good time seeing college friends and, Allie's friends and John's buddies and
Getting into
stuff like that. Yeah.
getting into shenanigans.
Yeah, just acting a fool, man.
Our old mixologist buddy on a Friday night taking care of us in downtown McKinney.
Ben. Yeah.
What a guy.
Good time. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's dive into this. Basically the last college football rankings before the shindig, before we know our Final Four. And our boys are still sitting there at number 5, waiting for somebody to mess up right there. Okay, I'm just going to ask straight out. Do you think we get in? Does A&M get into the Final Four?
A lot has to happen, so probably not.
Oh, you think a lot? Well, Florida losing helps us, I think.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the rankings right now. Alabama's not going to lose.
I would say Alabama probably cruises. The Clemson-Notre Dame game is everything.
Yeah, Notre Dame has to beat Clemson, or Clemson has to win by a lot.
What's the number?
I got it, probably 28.
28. Right? Okay, so you want 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, it's got to be like just a total blowout, and then they can go, well, look, we would have done the same thing with Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I think that's the argument, right?
Yeah, in the first game, Notre Dame. You could say Notre Dame. We may not have blown them out, but we'd have beat them in the first game. Notre Dame would have 2 losses. They're not in. Is essentially what you're saying. I think 21, a dominant 21 gets us really close. I think that would be the number that's interesting. I think we're a lock at 24. If they just control the whole game and win by 24, I don't see how you can put Notre Dame in still when people already think they're kind of a fraud, even though they have a good body of work, I would say. Ohio State's the real annoying one here, sitting with only 5 games, and they're going to get number 6. Ooh, you beat Northwestern, number 6-1 Northwestern, or number 14, 6-1 Northwestern. Northwestern hasn't been relevant in football since when? 1980?
Yeah.
You
had a decent win against Indiana, but they lost their quarterback.
Yeah, but Indiana's a good win. Indiana's their only decent win. I saw they rolled out, and I love how ESPN rolls out the graphic that everybody on the show just ignores completely, where they go strength of schedule and strength of record, and Ohio State's strength of schedule is 79 now, and their strength of record is 9th, I think. Clemson's is 8th. Yep. A&M's is 3rd, and they have the 7th strength of schedule, 3rd strength of record, and everyone acting like A&M has no shot to get into this top 4. What's the point of playing these games then?
Yeah, it's very frustrating to listen to. It almost comes off as they just want. Obviously, from ESPN's perspective, they would want these 4 teams in, right?
Oh, this is ratings. I mean, that's why they were pushing Florida so hard.
Yeah, like Bama is, arguably one of the all-time best programs. Yep. Notre Dame's.
They're drooling over Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame hasn't been good, good quotation marks in this long, in a long time. Clemson is just a blue blood program. Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be the number 1 pick. Everyone wants to watch him play the national championship. And then, of course, you got Ohio State.
Everybody.
Justin Fields. Yeah, Justin Fields, number 2 pick. Ohio State is a really good football team. I don't want to sit here and say they're not a really good football team. To me, it's just like, why does A&M get punished? Because Ohio State, they get the benefit of the doubt at 5 games.
As I said,
we had this argument. Yeah.
I said if you roll back A&M's schedule to if they start October 20 whatever when Ohio State started, A&M's undefeated. They lost week 2 to Bama. And that's it. And they would still have the win over Florida. So
I think you may not have been in the car, maybe. When I said to Terrell, when I said, well, if we're gonna how people are just been quote unquote dodging people in games.
Yeah.
Like Florida State dodging Clemson. Like, what if A&M just we don't want to play Alabama?
Yeah, we dodged them
Yeah.
week 2. We could have dodged them week 2 and said, "Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
we
we're
have
7-0 now.
Yeah, we have COVID."
Yeah, like we're 7-0 now. Like I'm not saying Ohio State would have lost to Michigan State or Michigan.
No, that's true.
but
They ditched weak games, but it's just another opportunity. It's another. You got to click the
anything
trigger.
can happen.
You pull the chain. You got to pull the trigger, and sometimes there's a bullet in that chamber, and you take that upset L. We've had to go step on the. We had to step on the field 8 times, 9 times now. They've only had to step on the field 6. That's 3 less times than. And everybody in the top 10, like Clemson's going to play 11 games. Notre Dame's going to play 11 games. Alabama's playing 11 games. I mean, shit. Even Iowa State's going to play 11 games.
Yeah, and so like, do you really want to throw in a team that's played basically half a season?
Yeah. And I mean,
Like-
I get it. They're good, but they haven't looked as dominant as I thought they would. Their offense is insane, but their defense has not stopped anybody.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, Indiana, like we said, good football team.
But they're
are
not
they-
offensive juggernauts.
Yeah, like if you throw in Clemson, they dominate that game against Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Ohio State's going to keep up points wise, you would think, but Clemson's just going to dominate them on offense. Just keep the ball away from them because their defense is so poor.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's really just like the top 3, and I love A&M. It's kind of like the top 3 and everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Or not really top 3. It's like Alabama, Clemson.
And we could play with those teams. I think we could ugly up a game. If we could ugly up a
Right.
game really well, we could win any of those games. If we keep the ball, pound the rock, keep the ball away from them, and the defense can shut down the other team's run and kind of get some stops. We could ugly up a game real easy. Like, that's why I would love, God willing, Notre Dame beats Clemson and we get in. Notre Dame jumps to 1. We slide into 4 to play Notre Dame because I think we could easily beat Notre Dame because they love running the football and they like playing defense, and that's the kind of game we want to get in with a team like that.
Yeah, I would feel really good about playing Notre Dame, and I would actually kind of feel if I was going to pick people to play again, it'd be Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. Alabama's an issue because they're going to run right by us on,
Yeah, even without Jalen Waddle, it's like Devontae Smith just said, "Watch, I'm just as good as him, if not better."
The only benefit of the doubt is we're a much better team than we were week 2 when we played them, and it's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team twice in a season, so maybe we have that going for us. I don't think we'd be able to move the ball necessarily against them. We have no receivers anymore. God, I wish we had some guys, but. I even saw people they're talking USC now. Ooh, 5-0 USC
God.
is going to beat 2-3 Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game because Washington had to drop out.
I wish the media would just come out and say, we just want to see blue blood programs.
Or-
Or we want to see or high rating programs. Just come out and say that.
Yeah.
'Cause that is what I get from that when I read stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that jackass that writes for The Athletic. What was his name? Ari Wasserman? Whatever some coastal idiot. He goes, SC has an argument. I read his tweet and I was like, you're a moron. They had an argument over A&M. I was like, how? They played 5 games too.
And there's one team in the Pac-12 besides them ranked in the top 25, and it's 4-1 Colorado. Ooh, scary.
Yeah.
And I do like this.
Supposed to be good, terrible.
Are they setting up Oklahoma to sneak in? Maybe. I mean, I guess they're a lot kind of far out. I don't get this Iowa State at number 6. They're 8-2. They lost to Louisiana, who has 1 loss to I'll give it. Louisiana lost 1 game to Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is undefeated, and they're ranked 12. But then they lost to mediocre ass Oklahoma State. Like, Oklahoma State is mediocre as can be, and so the committee is so inconsistent on how they value. So they're saying it's not a bad loss to lose to UL Lafayette, but we don't value these undefeated mid majors like Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina because they're 9 and 12 respectively undefeated. And at least Coastal scheduled some people, and Cincinnati's
BYU.
Cincinnati's gonna get Tulsa, a ranked team this week, their good win is against Oklahoma. I'm like, okay, so you value the win against Oklahoma, but you clearly value the SEC more than everybody because you have Florida and Georgia at 7 and 8 and 2 losses in conference. You say, okay, those are nothing. So it's just they're super inconsistent on where they value people. Like, Indiana should be ahead of Oklahoma at 6-1. Yes, Oklahoma's 7-2, Indiana 6-1. Oklahoma's playing a lot better football than they played with, but you knock yourself out when you lose 2 games early to bad teams. I don't want to hear that. I hear this Kansas State argument like, oh, Kansas State lost their quarterback. They're not good. Florida lost to LSU. I'm like, LSU is better than Kansas State. Let's not joke here. They're not close to each other. LSU's coming off a national championship and lost 19 starters.
2 coordinators.
Yeah, they're going to be down.
Guy, yeah.
They're going to be down. But they're still LSU. They're still good on any given Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm not too convinced that if you put up Indiana against Iowa State, if Indiana has their quarterback, Indiana's winning that game.
Oh,
right?
I think so. If Michael Penix isn't hurt, yeah.
I think Coastal has a good chance against them.
I don't get Iowa State. I think Oklahoma's going to rout them this weekend in the Big 12 championship game. I think Oklahoma's going to beat them by like 17. I don't think that game's going to be close.
And then I still, what does that put them at 8-2?
Yeah, it puts them at 8-2, and it revenge it, and they redeem one of their losses, and they have a bad loss to Kansas State early.
Yeah,
that doesn't get you in. That's all right. You get a New Year. You know what? You can get a New Year's 6 bowl. You won the Big 12. Congrats.
What are they going to bump them to 6? Probably.
Maybe
7.
It depends how close Florida plays. Yeah, depends how close Florida plays Bama. Maybe Georgia, Cincinnati, maybe with a win over Tulsa this weekend bumps them up.
Yeah, I just don't. ESPN has everything to gain from wanting the top 4 that is there right now to stay in the top 4.
This is factual.
They have everything to gain ratings wise, and I understand that. I really do.
But
is it really going to hurt? Because who doesn't if take away our bias? Like, we didn't go to A&M. Like, we're just casual fans. Who doesn't want to watch Alabama, Ohio State, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't want to watch Notre Dame, Clemson?
Again,
or, vice versa.
Yeah,
right.
But I don't want to watch it a third time. Is the problem? I've seen it twice. Unless Clemson
Absolutely.
wins a super tight game against Notre Dame this weekend, then I'm okay with a third matchup because they'll split the series and they play. If Notre Dame plays Clemson tight with Trevor, I'm like, okay, give it to me again. You have the potential to play this thing again in the champ. You can slide Notre Dame to 4. And make the Clemson smack Ohio State in the first game, and then maybe Notre Dame beats Bama. God, I don't think that would happen, but I'm okay with giving Notre Dame another shot at Clemson.
God, and then at that point, God, I'm just so. I'll be honest with you. ESPN should be kind of worried about another Alabama-Clemson matchup
for the third time,
like the 30th,
fourth
30th
time,
the 40th time. It's like, oh my God, like. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not going to knock, Dabo Nick. Like, they put out, exceptional teams every year. Like, I'm not mad at them. It's just like, golly, like,
it does.
Someone else step up.
It does lead.
It gets a little tired. Yeah.
It does lead to an 18 playoff though, and people say, well, look how dominant the top 3 teams are. Yeah, but make them win 3 tough games in a row. You can slip up one of those 3 weeks. It gets tough. Yeah. No long breaks. Let's play. I mean, if you want to take 10 days off maybe for the national championship, I'm okay with that, but you should have to play 7 days apart from the quarterfinals to the semifinals to get that.
If you slide in Indiana or Cincinnati or even Oklahoma into the Iowa State spot, who doesn't want to watch that top 8?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas A&M, let's just for the sake of Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia.
Yeah.
Who would not die to watch that?
And I would be okay with sliding in Cincinnati over Florida. If Florida gets smacked by Bama, you can say you've played your hand, you're done.
Because then at that point you have SEC champion Alabama,
ACC champion
Notre Dame or Clemson.
Yeah, Big Ten champion
Ohio State.
Big 12 champion.
Big 12 champion. SEC. Third
runner up. Third, whatever. I mean, we're technically the runner up. I mean, we beat Florida. Yeah. Let's not joke ourselves. If it was just the top, if we played in a normal if we played in the Big 12, we'd be in the SEC title game right now as the second seed.
Yep. And then Cincinnati would be the
the wild. I like that. You have one group of 5 team that hey, screw it.
Yeah.
Let's throw them in there.
Yeah, and I guess that's a good argument for this. I would be fine with 6 or 8. And I'm not, and for whoever listens to this, I'm not just saying that because A&M's not in the top 4. I think it should be 6 or 8 regardless. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
And this would have been the perfect year to at least try it out. I mean, we saw baseball try out the expanded playoff. It's not going to be the same next year. It's going back to what it was. Like, why wouldn't you just give this a test run? Especially if you're so starved for the money and the games are getting canceled and this and that. Why not add extra games?
Right.
To watch.
You think there'd be game for that, for sure.
And it's not like, the cancellation, the offseason, the holidays. Well, the schedule's already messed up. Like, some bowl games were supposed to start this weekend of what's getting played. Yep. And I don't know. It's just, you'd want to see something. Just give me something a little bit more. Because it always feels like somebody has an argument, and then we get stuck with the top 2. Because it feels it's not that difficult to win 2 games at the top at the end of the season, especially with 10 days off. against a good team. You can win those 2 games pretty comfortably. I think that's where men. That's why they say men are forged in the SEC, because you got to play a tough game usually every other week, or back-to-back games. You draw, something tough like we drew Bama and Florida back-to-back this year. You're not getting that in any other conference.
No.
So.
And then can we talk about Texas and Oklahoma State kind of sneakily sliding in the top 20?
It's good for ratings, Matt. They have 3 excellent losses. Oh wait, they have 3 not great losses at all. I guess Okie State gets in there because they beat Iowa State.
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina has 3 losses, but they lost to Notre Dame and Clemson at least.
Yeah, and then who else? I like BYU. BYU should probably be higher, but. Well, South Coastal.
Yeah, they just don't want to give these non-ranked teams some love. Yeah. Where's Buffalo? I need some love for the Buffalo Bulls.
How about the San Jose State fighting Nick Starkles, man?
I can't believe he's got them undefeated. I can't believe he's still in college.
I can't believe I think he's a year younger than me.
He's like,
what, 24?
24, turning 25 probably.
Yeah,
he got a lot of exemptions. He got a lot of exemptions. All right, so gut feeling. Is it Sunday afternoon? They roll this thing out. Sunday night, they roll this thing out. What's your gut feeling? Give me your final 4. Does it change?
Man, I think Alabama routes Florida. I bet they win by 17 or more.
Yeah,
I don't think it's close. I think after Florida lost to LSU, they just have lost all the willpower. Even if they beat Bama, Bama's probably going to stay at 1. I'm pretty convinced of that. I think they can get
unless Notre Dame wins. Unless Notre Dame wins, yeah.
I can see, and then I think Clemson's going to. This is tough. I think Clemson's going to win pretty convincingly. I think they have something to prove against Notre Dame, and I think Dabo's going to put it on them. Mostly because I think Dabo, you've seen his quotes about he doesn't think Ohio State deserves to be in. So maybe he's like, what if I just beat the crap out of Notre Dame? Oh, no, that doesn't matter.
Ohio State's getting it. If he beats the crap out of Notre Dame.
He's going to beat the crap out of Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame. You know what?
We'll know at halftime. We'll know at halftime what we need.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I think it's going to be Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas A&M.
Oh.
I think so. I think I'm going to lock that in and put them at 4.
He's putting us at 4. My heart tells me that...
Wouldn't surprise me, real quick. It wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State loses to Northwestern either. Northwestern's been sneaky good this year. I know they have a loss to... They have a bad loss, right?
They lost to Michigan State?
It's a bad loss.
That's a bad
loss. Lombardi's horrible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Northwestern comes out there and just leaves it all on the field against Ohio State.
I could see that game being closer than people suspect. I don't think Ohio State covers that game. Ohio State hasn't had a consistent schedule too here at the end, which may hurt them, may help them. I don't know.
Yep.
I could see this one. I could see Iowa State jumping A&M if they beat Oklahoma comfortably, but I don't think that'll happen. I think that gives Iowa State a route in, which is so dumb. Like, you can't lose to UL Lafayette and count that as, you can't lose to UL Lafayette and Okie State. Yes, you got dominated by UL Lafayette. You shouldn't be able to get in because your conference is bad. You get to play Oklahoma again.
Right.
So, I think Clemson's gonna get it close. I think we're gonna fall just short. I think it's gonna be the same top 4, not in the same order. I think it'll be Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Maybe the game's close and they keep Notre Dame at 3 and they punish Ohio State. We have to win by comfortably 3-4 touchdowns against Tennessee. I think Clemson controls the game the entire time, and they give up. They just don't really put it away, though. I think it floats at 17-21, 17-20 the entire game. And you just hope the swing at the end goes your way for the backdoor cover or whatever. Like, Clemson gets the Garbo touchdown and Notre Dame doesn't get the Garbo touchdown to maybe push it to 24 or 28 instead of pushing it to 14 or 13, something like that. So, God, I would lose my mind if we got in with a huge Clemson winner and Notre Dame upset, but I think we're going to fall just short.
I don't care what the tickets cost. I'm going to the games if they're allowing fans.
I think they will. I would hope. See, and Terrell was like, I'm not going to the semifinal. I go to a national championship. He's like, why? I go, because I want my team to prove to me they can actually win a big game first.
That's fair.
Before I'm committing to a national champ. At least I'll know. Yeah, I'd probably have to make the trip. Where is it? Is it in Jerry World this year?
I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I will say this: if A&M doesn't get in, as a fan, where we were 3 years ago as to where we are now, like we consistently, me and you have talked about this off the pod before, but it's so refreshing to see, like to know, like we're not going to lose to an unranked team, or we're not going to lose who we're supposed to beat.
Yes, we beat under Jimbo. We beat every team we're supposed to beat. That's something that never happened under any coach before that, which is a good feeling to have. We usually look good against teams that, maybe, we finish games. We've beaten every SEC opponent except for Florida by double digits, which is what we should have, National championship game is in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
January 11th, so that'll be a trip. But, yeah, like you said, it's great. Had a decent recruiting day today, too. Today was signing day, of course. Yeah. Alabama, I believe, was number 1 again.
Clemson number 2.
I think Clemson was 2. LSU was 3, maybe. LSU had a really good day too. But it's nice to see the consistency. Hopefully we stay consistent, and maybe finally we can get rid of this, garbage other team in state that everyone likes to talk about and love so much as a national power that can't manage to win more than
7 games.
Yeah. Oh, you've won 1 Sugar Bowl against a team that didn't play you. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna be. I think we're gonna be just short, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, nothing to be ashamed of.
Good.
Year 3 with Jimbo.
Yes.
If you would have, if we would have had our regular schedule this year, we would have been top 4.
We would have had a better record. We just wouldn't have had a good of win though, because we wouldn't have had Florida. Right. We still would have had the Bama loss. Maybe we don't, because you play Bama later in the season. Also, the Bama game was scheduled for the end of October.
Right.
And you could
things are looking bright in College Station, guys. So if we don't make it this year, next year, we're going to lose some offensive linemen.
2 years.
We'll have really good wide receivers. We'll have really good.
We always have good running backs. We always have good running backs.
We'll have some guys who can run the ball. We'll have our receivers back. We'll have some dudes out there. Defense should be solid again. So yeah, nothing to worry about, guys.
We're close. We're right there.
We're right there. I agree.
You love to see it. All right, let's go to the NFL, because the NFL is running out of time here. Did you catch that game on Monday night by any chance?
I watched the first quarter, and then I walked back in I stopped watching it because I saw they were down 14 or what. I think Cleveland was down 14. I was like, nah, I don't want to watch this anymore. And then I looked just to check, and I saw it was a 1-point game, I believe.
Yeah, by Cleveland up 1.
Yeah, and I obviously turned it on immediately and started watching the end of the game. So I missed probably most of the action, but I saw the last about 7 minutes of the game.
That was good. It was, what was that, 2 touchdowns and a field goal to win the game? Yeah. I kind of liked what I saw from the Browns, except till the end there. Lamar's got the cramps or the poops. We don't know. There's a lot of
the Paul Pierce.
Yeah, we don't. He said he ain't Paul Pierce. I'm glad he called that out. So maybe my man might have had cramps. He was running a lot.
That was hilarious that he said that. That was hilarious that he said that.
And he kept slipping everywhere too. That grass was terrible in Cleveland. What else is new? But that Browns defense totally let them down. Baker had a good game. I was, Baker was doing good. I thought they were going to get blown up when, to be fair, Lamar left when they were up 2 touchdowns, and that game could have got ugly. But the Browns, they fought hard. They are still the Browns. They ain't ready to run with the big dogs yet, obviously, because you have to win that game at home.
Yeah, 28-47, 343 yards, 2 tugs.
The interception wasn't his fault either. It was a great play by Baltimore. Yeah. It was not a bad pick that he's used to throwing. So
ran the 4 touchdowns on the ground.
Hey man, that defense.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, kind of a player, man.
Underrated. I like him. I liked him in Michigan. I know you can't like anybody that went to Michigan, but
I can like the players. Besides that jackass that coaches.
Didn't you say you couldn't get paid any amount of money to go play for Harbaugh this weekend?
I did. I said that this weekend. You couldn't pay me any amount of money to go play for that dumbass.
You would go walk on somewhere else.
I would walk on at Ohio State before I accepted a scholarship to play for Jim Harbaugh. And it's nothing against Michigan. Honestly, it's just I can't stand the guy. It's his khakis. It's the way Just real quick, we're going to talk about this for a second. It's the thing. It's the thing that it's the media that always. It seems like they just jerk him off. Like I know y'all made the point he went to the Super Bowl, and yeah, like he's a good coach, but it doesn't seem like he gets run out. Not run out, but like he just can't last long.
He wears people out with the way he does things.
Yes, and like that does not work in the NFL because sometimes you have dudes for like 10 years. Like college, like that. You can get away with that.
It does work if you're in New England, where you have a hands-off
winning Super Bowls.
Where you have the hands-off owner too, he's totally in charge. He wasn't totally in charge of everything in San Francisco, so I get how that could wear on people, especially if you're a GM.
And I just hate the way the media talks about him. They're, Colin
loves him.
I know Colin.
Him and Klatt.
I know, dude, and I know Colin says things to get a rise out of people, and he got a rise out of me. I remember when he said Jim Harbaugh was a better coach than Nick Saban. That's the most outrageous statement I've ever heard someone say in the media. Do you remember this?
I do not remember this, but I'm sure he said it.
It comes up very often on my Twitter sometimes. Someone goes, remember when Colin Cowherd said this? And at that moment, I was like, oh, my God.
And if
people overvalue Jim Harbaugh.
And if he had actually lived up to Michigan and got Michigan into the playoff and got them into a national championship game, he wouldn't have had the worst. I mean, he would have had – I could get the argument there if you do it in the NFL and you do it in college, because Nick Saban was terrible in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, I
agree.
He gets – if you get to Super Bowl, get to a national championship in both, clearly you are an elite coach to be able to do it at both sides, because there's not a lot of – Jimmy – is one of the Pete Carroll and Jimmy Johnson, like the only two guys that you can really think of recently that have had major success in both.
Right.
So
he just you
hate him.
Yeah. Anyways, back to what we're talking about.
Okay. So talking about the Browns, they're not ready to roll there, but they're interesting. The playoff race in the AFC is so tight right now.
Very tight.
I don't know. Is Baltimore going to sneak in is the real question. Let me look where they're standing right now. I think they're on the outside looking in currently. Yeah, they're on the outs looking in, but they don't have the tiebreaker with the Dolphins, but they're right there. Vegas feels like they're kind of done now, unfortunately.
Baltimore's done?
No, Baltimore's easy. Baltimore might win out. Baltimore's schedule is cake.
I think who's out?
Vegas. I think Vegas is done. They were a nice little story.
Oh, when you said Vegas, I thought you meant like the casinos.
Oh, no. No, they win a lot of money. I'm sure everybody bet on Baltimore to win. Colin had them 15-1, 16-0, remember?
Yeah. I would agree with you. I think the Raiders are done. I just don't. I don't. They just haven't looked good.
They have not looked good down the stretch. Yeah, Ravens schedule: Jaguar versus the Jags versus the Giants at the Bengals to close out the season. That's got 3-0 written all over it.
Yeah, and the Vegas Raiders have the Chargers.
Oh.
Talented team.
Yeah, but who knows? Dude, the Chargers and the Falcons, both teams, those are two teams that know how to lose, and they both tried to lose that game this weekend. It was hilarious to watch. Both threw picks inside the last 5 minutes to lose the game, basically. But yeah, go on. Chargers.
Dolphins.
Okay, that's a big game for them.
Huge game. And then at the Broncos, who actually had to kind of put on a good game last week.
Drew Lock only shows up in the last 5 weeks of the season. You know that.
Yeah.
It's the only time he balls out. And Miami looked pretty decent against Kansas City for good chunks of that game. I went back and watched. I know we were at the bar watching the other games, watching Dallas throw away the third pick in the draft for some reason. But I went back and watched.
Away Penei Sewell. Yeah.
Depressing, I know. Dallas might find themselves get 6 wins. They might be picking at like 15.
Don't fucking say that to me.
The Dallas sports radio guys were like, hey, look at this. We might end up picking it at 15, 14-15 right now.
Yeah.
But Dolphins.
I can see McCarthy somehow saving his ass for another season.
Oh, he's not getting fired. Jerry was very angry. Jerry's never going to admit he's wrong. So Jerry ain't giving up on Mike McCarthy yet.
I would have given up on him after the second game.
Let's see. Okay. Jesus, they have a 10 a.m. Eastern time. That can't be right. That must be the coverage. They got the Patriots, Raiders, and Bills coming up the Dolphins. So this is nice. The AFC seems like they're playing each other, at least these teams at the back end right here trying to fight their way in. So that's interesting. Do you think anybody can beat the Chiefs in the AFC?
No, I think, like we talked about, I don't think it was last week, the week before, I think the Steelers have proven they're frauds, right?
Agreed.
Browns aren't going to beat them.
Can the Bills do it?
Maybe. I think if there was one team to do it, it'd be the Bills with just enough firepower. And Josh Allen. Allen's very hot and cold sometimes. He's very frustrating, but he's so good. He's so talented. I think he could have the argument. He's a top 4 quarterback
this year.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take how he's currently playing, like the last 2 weeks, because he had a nice dip there. I mean, maybe. Yeah. People would say Watson was playing better than him on those losers in Houston.
Yeah, it would be. So your top 4 would be obviously
Mahomes. Rodgers is playing out of his mind right now. Russell. So
and then Josh Allen, Deshaun.
Josh Allen's playing very good football, especially for that team.
They have a nice schedule. At the Broncos. Could be tough. Depending on what Drew Lock you get.
The problem is there's no 2 buys this year, which is going to kind of hurt the Bills because they'd be locked to get that second buy right now because they have the tiebreaker over Pittsburgh. So all they need is Pittsburgh to slip up once, which the Pittsburgh still has to play the Colts and the Browns. So that could be an easy slip up right there. Dude, I heard this stat. The Bills defense, they've not been good, but lately they now lead the league in fourth quarter turnovers and fourth quarter red zone efficiency on defense. That's going to win you a lot of games, especially late.
It is. Yep.
Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over in the red zone. They score. If the Bills just need to find their run game, I don't know what happened to their run. The Bills used to be power run and defense, and now they're just like air it out. Let's, sling the rock downfield 40, 50 times a game, no problem. And then the defense gets a stop when it needs to be. I like that.
You know what real quick. You know what I think? The Bills are missing a really good running back.
And they thought they had it in Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, I think. And it's I don't think their offensive line is a great run blocking offensive line either. I watch a lot of I watch a good amount of Bills games because I like the Bills. And there's some holes not there for those guys. Because I like Singletary has some decent stuff. It's a good two-headed system. Zach Moss fumbles a little bit too much for my liking as a young guy.
Yeah, he does.
Buffalo is also built to go into Kansas City, I think. Josh Allen ain't going to be worried about cold weather, slinging a rock downfield. That's going to be the least of your concern. In fact, he might throw a ball better than Pat Mahomes in a bad weather game.
Right.
So that's an interesting... Tennessee... God damn, if Tennessee could play any defense, I would love Tennessee. Derrick Henry ran for another 2 Bills this weekend. This man, is he the best running back post-Thanksgiving in NFL history?
Derrick Henry?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. He's a freaking animal.
It's been 3 years in a row now where he's just he's had pretty good seasons. He's been very good all season consistently, but when the cold weather rolls in, when people are banged up and they don't want to tackle, Derrick Henry just keeps on chugging.
Yeah, what does he have? He has 1,500 yards. What does he average? 5.2 yards per carry.
And he's now back into the touchdown. He wasn't getting his touchdowns early.
Yeah, he's got 14 touchdowns.
Oh, my God. And then
that's big boy football right there.
He's going to win somebody a fantasy championship if they're in the playoffs, which should have been me. I got hosed. But
don't worry, he's gonna win it for Riley.
Yeah, of course he is. Cheating league. I didn't even bother texting you about after the Diggs game. I was gonna ask the second best Bills receiver. Remember?
Yeah. My God.
On Sunday night, he's got the Lions, the Packers, and the Texans to close out the season. None of those 3 teams have any run defense whatsoever.
So it's looking like they're gonna go what?
11,
11-5
12, 11-5 at the worst. They may lose that Packers game because they can't stop them.
Yeah.
But, they're going to be 11-1 team. They're interesting. I don't believe Cleveland. Indianapolis is another interesting team. I don't know what I'm going to get from Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I feel like we say this every time we talk about Phillip Rivers. We don't know what Phillip Rivers we're going to get. We're going to get 3-pick Phillip Rivers, or we're going to get 5 touchdown.
Yes.
Phillip Rivers.
And
you never know.
You never know. Indy can play defense and run the ball, and it's It's frustrating to watch them. But hey, they might be getting a new quarterback because I don't know what's going on in Philly. Well, what's going to happen there with good old Carson Wentz?
I don't know. I think he's going to be on the team, right? Like you can't just cut him.
You can't. You can't even trade him because the cap is all messed up with him too. Which
and now,
is a problem.
Isn't it kind of? It's funny. I remember when they signed Carson Wentz, everyone in Philly was like, they're gonna have to pay Dak all this money now, or like, media people at least. It's like, well, do they now? Like, do they have to now? Because now Jerry can go look at that contract.
Yeah, but what has Jerry ever been known to do that?
Right. Well, except like he's only done it with Dak, it seems like, right? He
True.
paid Ezekiel Elliott, which is looking like at the time. I remember I was, full. I was like, no, that's a good contract. I remember defending that contract to you and Terrell.
Now it looks like
it looks horrible, and I'll be wrong. I'm fine with being wrong about that.
It's so weird. He's 25 years old.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old, and he's got like nothing in the tank. It looks like.
And it feels like he runs like a 38-year-old. Frank Gore almost feels like he has more burst than him right now.
Adrian Peterson for sure has more burst than him right now.
And I just don't understand if he's being too patient, if he's not hitting the holes hard. I just don't see it with him right now, unfortunately. But and then pay Amari Cooper all that money, and I would rather not be in cap hell. That's very aggravating. When that happens,
yes, welcome to the NFL, especially next year is going to be a disaster for like half the league, I think.
Yeah.
Guys are going to be getting cut left and right. But hey, Dallas is going to play themselves out of a top 5 pick and get themselves picking at like 12.
Yeah. God, they're just going to get some subpar
mediocre
safety or somebody we don't want, and then God.
It is going to be tough for them. I feel for you.
Instead of getting a perennial, the Bengals probably would have got him, but we would have got
Penei Sewell,
who would have been,
great.
a Pro Bowler.
There's some there's some good guys in the top. Yeah, picking in the top 4, top 5, you're probably getting a guy that's going to have, you should be getting a Pro Bowler right there every year.
Right.
So, and their schedule's soft too is the problem. Dallas is
the Cowboys.
Coming down the stretch. It's not the toughest schedule in the world.
Yeah, because who do we have?
They got San Francisco this week, which is very interesting. This is a game they need to lose. San Francisco, both teams are kind of... I mean, the Cowboys, I think, are still flirting that they could win this division, which is the scary thing.
Yeah, imagine winning a division at 6-10. That'd be embarrassing.
It's happened... I don't know if 6-10's happened. I know 7-9's happened.
You shouldn't be allowed to just win it. It's just be... an uncontested one for the season.
We'll put in another wild card team. Let's see, Niners, Eagles, Giants to close out the season.
Yeah, I mean they could win all 3 or they could lose all 3.
Which is what which is what you want. It's exactly what you want going forward.
Yeah.
That's interesting. The tail end of the NFC is a little less interesting. Minnesota, Chicago this weekend, both teams at 6-7. That eliminates somebody from the playoffs, and then Arizona. And then, Minnesota got hosed against Tampa Bay this weekend. That was so frustrating. That game.
I was listening to a podcast about that, and they said the same thing. The Vikings dominated the game.
And Dan Bailey left 10 points. And the officials, I know people complain about the officials. The officials absolutely hosed us in that game. First pass interference on a Hail Mary since 2009 was called before the half. They called it pass interference when Mike Evans literally fell to the ground on an interception in the end zone that led to a touchdown. And it's just constantly, it was bad. They got to have Tom in the playoffs. They can't not have Tom in the playoffs.
Yep.
And so I need Kyler Murray to screw this up, which could happen. But so, the NFC is a little less exciting. The NFC East is exciting because football team jumped up on and got that another big win, which is, if Alex Smith is healthy, I don't know if I want to play Washington in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is incredible. Chase Young is
was it Louis Riddick? Somebody on ESPN had a statement like, Chase Young is everything Jadeveon Clowney should have been.
Yeah.
Like, elite, dominant, he is unblockable right now. And it's his first year in the league. He's going to be something crazy special.
Did you say you kind of broke up? You said Chase Young should have been
Jadeveon Clowney. What Jadeveon Clowney should have been?
No, absolutely. They're the same build, the same kind of player, same hair. Except Chase Young looks like if anyone, I'm sure everyone's seen Alien versus Predator. He literally looks like a predator.
Yes,
he's a frightening human.
Just a jacked human. He's a ripped human at whatever 6'4". Is he 6'4", 6'5"? Probably like 280, 285.
I think he's 6'6".
6'6", 285, 290.
Yeah,
shredded
he
muscle.
Runs like a 4'4". Yeah,
he's.
No, we had a top 5 list.
People you don't want to tackle.
Yeah, Chase Young, Derrick Henry, Aaron Donald.
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, because I feel like he could grab my face mask and crumple it in his hands.
Aaron Donald, I think, would be the easiest one to tackle just because he's smaller. Like, them legs aren't that big. Like, I can maybe get around it. It's gonna hurt. Like, you're going down, but you don't have to go as far. You're catching a knee to the head with 6'6" Chase Young trying to wrap that thing up.
Yeah. I'm afraid, and then to round that out, I think AJ Brown.
Yes, those fast guys running full speed at you. Yikes.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. Yeah.
See ya. Yeah, I agree. He's a freak. They're playing good. 2 defensive touchdowns this week, and I sat them in fantasy. Thank God I didn't need a win. I didn't want to embarrass my dad too much. I sat him and Miles Sanders. Both had 30 points.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I benched Miles Sanders too.
Oh, tough.
Bad loss for the New Orleans Saints.
Yes, it's going to cost them the 1 seed.
Yep.
Maybe. Green Bay still has to play Tennessee, so that's an interesting one. Saints' schedule, I do not believe, is easy either. Let's see. I know they got the Chiefs this week. They got the Vikings on Christmas Day, and then at the Panthers. Those are not easy games, especially with no fans in the Superdome.
Yep. Chiefs, Vikings, at Panthers.
Yeah, I like that. The Chiefs game is really tough. The Vikings, we know, match up well with the Saints. That's for damn sure. They should honestly not play Drew Brees against us. If they play Drew Brees, we're going to win that. If Drew Brees plays most of that game, we're going to win. I will call that right now. We're going to win that game. We own Drew Brees.
Is there an argument to be made that Taysom should just stay the starter the rest of the season?
There is, but they feel kind of limited passing the ball. You saw it against Philly. He's limited passing the ball, especially in bad weather spots. And now they've got to go to a bad weather spot to win this thing. They're going to have to go to Green Bay if Green Bay can take care of business. And you want Drew Brees to be able to stretch the defense. You don't want the defense selling out upfield and, kind of loosen them up on those soft underneath stuff because they'll give it to you. And then I think Taysom Hill should have a much larger package in the game. You could almost run a 2-quarterback system with him where Taysom Hill can run and throw now because before everyone knew he was running the ball when he came into the game. Now you got to kind of be a little bit honest against him. So that could help a lot. You don't want to lose this. The problem with the Saints is they don't match up well with really any of the teams at the top, it feels like. They play the Rams. The Rams are going to crush them.
Yep.
Washington is a bad matchup for them. I don't think they're good enough offensively, but they're not going to be able to move the ball against them. Seattle, the same thing. They get after the quarterback now, and Russell's going to put up points. So the Saints, and everyone drools over the Saints every year, and they always lose in the first round. They lose in the first round of the playoffs or on heartbreak or something.
Yep.
So
sure.
I like the Rams too. They're a little interesting. Jared Goff, a little bit of a sleeper.
Does it feel like it's kind of just the Chiefs and everyone else?
Yes, I would say so. I don't know. They haven't looked good though the last 6 weeks or so. They've been very average, the Chiefs. Yeah. So, but are they just so good that they can look average and beat people?
Right.
I mean, again, Pat Mahomes is better when he is down than he when has a lead. So maybe they should just spot everybody 7 points to start the game.
Yeah.
And then they can start rolling it up on people.
Right.
All right. Oh, we got to give a shout out to a little love for Terrell's segment, his boy toy. Jalen Hurts got his first career NFL start, his first career NFL win. He was 17 of 30 with a $167 and a touchdown. Ran it 18 times for a $106, 5.9 yards a carry. So Jalen Hurts' stat of the week is back because he is now
1-0.
1-0 against a good team. I think this play may have backfired horribly on the Eagles.
Of starting Jalen Hurts.
Yes, because I think they thought he was going to get slaughtered against New Orleans, and he beat him.
Yep, he beat him, and now he's starting again, right?
Yep, they're starting him again. You're going to have to roll. And I do want to say, screw you, Doug Peterson. His play calling was so much better against the Saints than it's been all year with Carson Wentz. They were drawing up everything against him. So much trickery, so much movement. None of that when Carson Wentz is back there.
Do you think Carson Wentz is kind of like, you asshole?
Yeah. Carson Wentz is out. If I'm Carson Wentz, I'm demanding a trade.
Yeah.
I mean, What are they going to do? They still have to pay me. Okay.
Yep.
But I'm demanding a trade just to, make a principle. Trade me to the Colts. Let me go back to my boy Frank Reich and get back to my dominance that I had.
I wouldn't hate that.
No.
Get him out of the NFC East.
Yes, goes back to that, of course, always. All right, I think that's going to do it for us this week. NBA starting next week, so that should be exciting. It's good having you back. Probably have you on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Got to get us more. Holidays won't be doing much, hopefully. But, yeah. All right, we'll see you all next week.